May 28th, 2015. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 73 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and as always, sitting next to me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So the Belmont Stakes is coming up on June 6th.
Yep.
Once again, we have a possibility of a Triple Crown winner, American Pharoah.
We did last year. Did we have it the year before?
I want to say that it's happened like 5 out of the last 6 years, something like that.
Okay.
I may be wrong, but there have been quite a few recently, possibilities.
Well, the hard thing is this is the longer of the 3 races.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a different horse.
Yep.
I mean, bred for a different length.
Yeah, well, that's what's so tough about winning the Triple Crown, right? Is because they are different races. You got to be
fast and short, and you got to be enduring for the long race.
Yeah. There is a little controversy surrounding American Pharoah, and it's not that they spelled Pharaoh wrong, which is...
Yeah, how would you pronounce it?
It looks that I bet people misspell it the way that they misspelled it all the time because that looks like Pharaoh, right?
Yeah.
But no, they got the O and the A reversed when they submitted the name.
Right. It looks to me like Pharaoh.
It's Pharaoh. What I think is funny though now is that, newspapers are misspelling the misspelling. Right, because they're spelling it right.
Pharaoh. Well, they probably have a dictation machine or something that just puts Pharaoh in like you spelled it wrong, right?
But anyway, here's the controversy. So Ahmed Zayat, who's the owner of American Pharoah, he is being sued for $1.65 million by a man named Howard Rubinsky. Okay.
Sounds like a made-up name, Rubinsky.
Nope, it's true. It's a real name.
Okay.
Right?
It sounds made up.
It sounds like, something from a movie.
Right.
So Rubinsky claims that he advanced Zayat money to make sports wagers at 2 South American casinos.
Okay.
Like online casinos making sports wagers, right? And apparently he's saying that he actually loaned him like $2 million and that Zayat actually paid some of it back.
Okay.
But not all of it.
So this guy that owns horses that are good enough to win major races can't make his own sports wager bets?
Well, this was a while ago. This is the interesting thing. I guess this happened about 10 years ago.
Oh, so before he had the money.
And Zayat, I guess his company or his thoroughbred organization was on the verge of bankruptcy, I believe.
Okay.
All right. So
that would make more sense.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was, he had all these winning horses all along.
Right. That would make more sense. So when he didn't have money, this guy loaned him some money.
Yeah. Now, I'm not exactly sure on this, but it sounded like Rubinsky was kind of working as a go-between. Okay. He was almost like working for the casinos, kind of on commission kind of a thing. Like, I'm going to bring you a high roller.
Bring us a high roller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I might be wrong on that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Rubinsky is claiming that, Zayat made these wagers and never paid him back. And Zayat is now claiming that Rubinsky is just trying to extort money from him. That even if it did happen, the statute of limitations has gone.
Yeah. And isn't sports betting technically illegal?
Well, see, that's, a whole other thing. I don't know, right? Can you make wagers on these offshore casinos? Yeah. That's kind of a gray area, right? Still.
I mean, if you left the United States and went to, like, say, South America and made your bets, I could see where that would be legal, right? You're in a foreign country.
And I don't know. Maybe Rubinsky was, doing that, making the bets on his behalf, not from America.
Right, but at their... I mean, because if you're making them from America, I think that's technically illegal.
Well, anyway, Rubinsky has actually been arrested for money laundering, so he's not completely innocent in this whole thing.
Right,
and so
he's not the clearest cut guy.
No, so who knows, what the real story is. I have a feeling they're probably both a little shady in their own way. But hopefully that won't get back to Zayat. I'd hate for him to sue us for defamation of character.
No.
Because we don't know. We don't know.
We're just, this is all heresay on our part,
exactly. Right.
You're not an attorney, but this is hearsay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, right. That's right. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm rooting for American Pharoah to win. I mean, everybody kind of wants there to be a Triple Crown winner. Last time was 1978, right? So it's been a long time.
Right. And I don't think, not having him win is much of a story.
No.
Right. Unless it's like something weird, like he gets bumped or, something odd happens. But if he just loses, then it's just, okay, another race, right?
And kind of like last year with California Chrome, it's probably not a good bet to wager on American Pharoah for this, right? The odds are probably going to be, so low that it's not worth it, even though he has a good chance of winning.
Do you know how many horses are in that race?
No, I don't. I don't know if they've even announced the field yet. Okay. So we're recording this about a week and a half before the race.
If it's a small field, then it's probably not a good idea to put American Pharoah in your...
Yeah. Some other news. So there's a bill that has been sent from the Nevada legislature to the governor's desk that would pave the way for skill-based slot machines. Now, remember a few months ago in Atlantic City, they approved physical skill-based gambling. Remember, there was a basketball free throw tournament. It was almost like a poker tournament you entered, but it was for basketball free throw. And, the winner of the tournament, the most free throws or however it worked, would win the tournament.
Did we ever find out anything about this?
A lot of people who were professional, quote unquote, free throw shooters came to compete. Not necessarily basketball players, but
people who professionally shoot baskets. Yeah.
So they came, and I don't know, I can't remember who won, but it was a success. As far as I can tell. But this bill would apply to slot machines in particular. Okay. And the idea is that maybe by adding this skill-based element to these machines, it will appeal to younger gamblers.
The video game people.
Right. The video game generation, right? Who may be bored with just traditional slot machines where, there's not really much interaction. It seems like maybe there's interaction, but there isn't any real true interaction. Right.
So now when you're watching King of the Nerds, when they say they're a gamer, they'll have to come up with a new term for I'm a gamer, but I play slot machines.
Well, maybe. Now, see, here's the thing, because these slots it still may be negative expected value, right? Just because it's skill-based doesn't mean that you could make money on these machines.
Right. Okay. So you're still going to be at a disadvantage.
Yeah, right. What would probably happen is with these skill-based, if you played it perfectly, the house would still have an edge. Right. So maybe you've got somebody who, doesn't play very well, like it's some kind of pinball or some kind of, video game.
And their payback is like 85%.
Exactly.
And somebody who plays really well, their payback could be 98%.
Exactly. So that's probably what it's going to be back.
Yeah. Seems like that'd be hard to program.
Well, it depends. I think they were saying that at the last Global Gaming Expo, they were showing off kind of a pinball-based skill slot machine. I think it would be great, to maybe go back to some of these old school games, like Centipede or Pac-Man. Can you imagine if there was like this huge Pac-Man slot, right? And when you get to the bonus, you're actually on a Pac-Man screen, and you've got to move around and say, for every pellet that you eat, it's like one credit or 10 credits or something. Right. Yeah. And when you get the power pellets and you eat the ghost, it's more. Right. Yeah. Again, if you played it perfectly, you still wouldn't have an edge over the machine. But oh my gosh.
It's good and bad. I mean, my luck, I'd be at the pinball. It'd be on tilt every other, minute. I'd have to call there'd be a button to press for, a runner to come by. Oh, sir, don't lean on the machine.
That'd be it. You'd be shaking it, trying to get the ball to move. Right. I mean, if you think regular pinball machines are sensitive, just imagine the slot machines, right?
Well, I'm hoping for my favorite would be either Galaga.
Galaga?
I call it Galaga.
Well, it's Galaga.
Okay. Well, Pharaoh's not Pharaoh either. So, and Asteroids.
Oh yeah,
I like Asteroids. That was my favorite.
That was my favorite too.
We spent a lot of time playing Asteroids.
Yeah, that's nuts. We got an email from John. Let me just read to you here. Will casinos track your play if you're only betting the table minimum at a $3 table? Say making $3 pass line bet and two $3 come bets with odds. I've been told that at $3 blackjack tables that the minimum bet is $5 for tracking. I think it's going to depend on the casino that you're in.
Yeah, definitely probably going to depend on the casino. Some of the lower limit casinos probably do track people at any amount, right?
They might, at the real sawdust joints. But then again, if it's a $3, if they're kind of like at the Downtown Grand on the off hours, they have the $3 tables. Right. And at Fremont, they have $3 tables. It could be that, if people are here betting the minimum, we won't rate them, till they go up to $5 or something like that.
But you know what? Why not rate them? What does it take? A few seconds?
Well, I agree. But if you want to know, I think you've got to ask.
Yeah, it probably depends on the casino by casino.
I remember years ago, I was playing at Treasure Island. This was probably back when Steve Wynn still owned, Mirage and Treasure Island.
And it was probably pretty new, I imagine.
Yeah, relatively new, yeah. And I had a Players Club card, and on the back of the card, it clearly said, show this card at table games and you'll be rated for bets of $25 or more.
Right.
It said it on
$25.
That's what it said. And this was, again, when Treasure Island was relatively new. And so I was at the craps table. I was at a $5 craps table. And I was betting, $5 on the line with odds. And then once a point was established, I'd usually go across, like 27 across, 26 across, or whatever. So I actually had, $31, $32 in play at any given time.
But not a $25 single bet.
Exactly. And the guy told me, you're not going to get rated. Yeah.
Well, think about the time, though. The world was good then. Right?
Okay.
Things were going well. The economy was up.
Yeah.
And everything. So they didn't really want to waste time rating anybody that they wanted the big rollers, right?
Okay.
I think when the economy got bad and things went bad, they rate everybody because they want to get whoever they can into their casino.
Maybe. I mean, that's a good question, actually. Did they start rating players better after the economy tanked?
I think definitely.
You think so?
Well, think about it. I mean, you have to look at it from a money standpoint. They spend a certain amount of time rating you. They spend a certain amount of time looking over that, or at least the computer does, and then mailing stuff to you, to get you back to the casino.
Mm-hmm.
If times are going good and your casino's full anyway, you're not going to mail out stuff to people who are betting $3.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
If things are not going so well and you need players of any kind, you'd probably send it to every single person.
Okay, I accept that argument.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I
don't know if it's true either. But
that's a valid argument.
It would make sense, and especially in today's economy. Yeah. I mean, if a casino is willing to print up a flyer and mail it to hundreds of thousands of people to come in and get their 6-pack of Coke, then
that's a good point.
They want people in the casino, right?
Yeah. Well, we got another email from Jack. He wrote, "When the fire bet is not available, do you always, sometimes, or never play the features bet? I know it's not a good bet, but I just wondered." So longtime listeners probably know what the fire bet is since we talk about it ad nauseum.
Yeah. Until we hit it again, we're going to keep doing that.
That's right.
And whining.
The features bet, that's basically the all tall, all small, all or nothing at all bet. And they call it the features bet. I think on the last episode you called it the futures bet.
I probably did. I go back and forth.
Neither one really is very descriptive of what the bet is.
You would think futures because it's like something you're betting something that might happen down the road. Like the fire bet is a future bet.
Yeah, right.
Because
almost any bet on the table is a future bet.
Yeah, but it's really a future bet because it only pays at the very end of the roll.
Oh, the fire bet, you mean?
Yeah, right. It doesn't pay in the middle.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's like way in the future. It's the end of the roll. Feature bet, it doesn't make sense. Oh, we feature this.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him, well, do you feature a hard 8? I'd like to bet on that,
Anyway, if you hear feature bet, that's usually what it means. The all tall, all small, all or nothing at all. And what those bets are, the all small is a bet that numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 will come up before a 7. All of them.
Right.
The all tall is that 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 will all come up before a 7. And then the all or nothing at all is that every number is going to come up before a 7. And it pays it at odds.
Yeah. Here's an interesting little thing, though. And unless you've played this, you may not be familiar with this. Okay, with a fire bet, you have to make at least 4 distinct points.
Yes.
And to be paid, and then 5 pays a little more and 6 pays a little more. And it continues until the person 7's out on their roll.
Right.
Right. And then you determine.
Even if you've already won it. Like when we hit the fire bet, I kept rolling because my roll was still going.
Your roll was still going.
Yeah, right.
All right. And when you got to the end of your 7 out, then they said, oh, look, he made 6 and we pay accordingly.
Yeah.
Now with the all tall, all small, and alls, you can go up on some numbers. Let's say you roll a 2 and then you roll a 3 and then you roll a 4, then you roll a 5, then you make your point of 9.
Yes.
Okay. And then you're coming out and you 7.
Right.
Which doesn't end your roll. It's a frontline winner.
Right.
But you lose your all small.
Yes. Right.
Even though you've already rolled, 4 of the 5 numbers.
Yes.
Right. So you can lose those bets before your roll is over, before you 7 out.
Right.
And you can start them again.
Yes, after the 7's been rolled.
So and you have to pay another, whatever, $5 for that bet.
Well, it depends on what you're doing. The $3, one on each one, or whatever.
Or whatever you bet. Yeah. You have to pay again once that. So a 7 on the come out kind of hurts you in those bets.
Sure. Well, getting back to Jack's question, now I never bet the features bet.
No.
You do.
Yeah, I do.
I think you were, on our last trip to Vegas, you were kind of complaining about them because you found you were putting out a lot more money than on the fire bets, right?
Because I put
what you just said, right?
I put $15 out there.
Yeah.
And a good roll, I might have put it out 4 times.
Yes.
So, all of a sudden I've got like $60 invested in that stupid thing. Whereas the fire bet, I just had, $10 right off the bat, right?
Right.
So
which do you like better?
Well, to be honest, the feature bet does pay a little more frequently.
More frequently, yes. That's
it does
true.
pay more frequently.
Yeah.
It doesn't pay as much, but it pays more frequently.
Yeah.
I like them both. I wish the casino would have them both.
Yeah, that is true. They seem to be mutually exclusive, right? You never see both of them on a table, a fire bet and the features bet. I wonder if any casino has it, or if there's some kind of licensing issue.
Well, it could be licensing. It could be that it's too much to deal with.
Well, maybe.
Because the feature bet's kind of up where the fire bet usually is.
Oh, yeah.
Where they place it and be like, there'd be too much on the table.
There would be a lot out there, but there's
some guy rolls and messes up all the chips.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's a lot to watch. They have to mark the point versus on the features, they have little markers that they put on each number.
Yeah.
You know what I do not like about the feature bet?
What's that?
Is that you have to pay attention because sometimes the stick man or the box man will forget to mark it.
Yes, that is true.
And you're like, wait, mark the 11. He just rolled an 11, right? You actually have to keep an eye on that because I've caught him plenty of times forgetting. They start talking or the table's busy or something. Whereas the fire bet, it's a little more clear cut.
Not often do you mess up on that, right? Because once a point's been established, they have a little puck that they put on.
As soon as they take it off.
Once a point's been made, I should say. Yeah. Yeah. We actually got a voicemail from Taylor, kind of along this topic too. Let's have a listen.
Hey guys, this is Taylor from New Mexico calling in. I played craps at the Downtown Grand last night, and no fire bet anymore. There was a guy who got in next to me, and he said, "You guys literally changed the table from yesterday, so I think it just happened." So they have the all small, all tall bets now, so no fire bet at Downtown Grand.
That's a shame because
so there's no fire bet downtown.
I don't know of any downtown casino that has the fire bet. And the nice thing about the fire bet at Downtown Grand too was one of the few places in Las Vegas where it would pay on 3 unique points,
right,
instead of 4.
Yeah, the payouts were a little smaller. But you
smaller
got paid
on the higher end.
On the higher end. But you got paid a lot more frequently.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not that uncommon to get 3 points, not every other shooter, but you go around the table, someone will get 3 points.
Yeah. I don't know of any Las Vegas casinos where they do have a 3-point fire bet. There may be some, but I just don't know of any at this point. Yeah.
Well, I kind of missed the fire bet, but at least they replaced it with the features bet.
Yeah, it seems like that's very common now, is especially for casinos in Vegas to have one or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
I did play at the $3 table this morning just now, and just went on to have the worst roll I've ever had. But oh well.
The worst roll he's ever had. Now, what could that possibly be? Right? Because, is it an immediate 7 out? We've all done that.
Depends on how you're playing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if he's playing like you with come bets, it would be like going up to 3 numbers, having the point, and then 7ing out.
Yeah.
Or if he always has a come bet, it would be like going up to establishing a 4, rolling a 5, a 6, an 8, a 9, a 10, and then 7ing out.
Okay, that would be bad.
That would probably be the worst possible scenario.
What about like rolling 10 craps in a roll? But, refusing to move to the don't or to bet, any of the prop bets on, any craps or anything like that, and then establish a point and then go up on come bets and then 7 out.
That'd be worse.
That'd be bad.
That'd be worse. Well, yeah, in that case, then you could make it, you're on the don't and you roll 5 11s followed by 4 7s.
That's true. Maybe he was on the don't and he just made point after point.
There's no fire bet and he's not winning anything. That might be the worst.
That would be the worst. All right.
Dr. Taylor, you're going to have to explain yourself on that worst roll.
That's right.
So at Vimps, maybe if you guys get in early, we could play $3 table on Friday morning or something. So just calling to let you know fire bet's gone from downtown. Okay, bye.
Okay, we are still in the process of kind of making our plans for VIMF. So I'm not sure exactly when we're going to get there. I'm thinking it'd probably be Friday or Saturday morning, right? To do like a craps tutorial.
Right. Depending on how late or early we get there Thursday.
Right. I'm thinking probably Saturday because Saturday everybody will be there. You're right, because the main event is on Saturday. So for sure everybody would be there on Saturday. And then like we talked about last time, maybe the Golden Nugget, because when we were there, we found that there were plenty of empty spots on their tables. They have quite a few tables. And there was plenty of room that we could kind of take over a table and put together a tutorial. So
yeah, hopefully it'll be that way.
Yeah.
You know, that's always sketchy. You never know.
Sure. We'll solidify those plans as we get closer.
It depends on how drunk you get Thursday night.
That is a big part of it, yes.
Yeah, whether it'll be Friday or Saturday. That should be your answer.
That is a big part of it, yeah. We got an email from Eddie. He says, now that the Riv is no more, I was wondering if you guys know if there's anywhere else in Vegas that offers dollar blackjack and or other table games. Yeah, the Riviera before it closed had some dollar blackjack that was going on. I don't know of anybody who's got dollar blackjack these days.
I haven't physically seen a dollar blackjack table in a long time.
It's just not worth it to the casino to have a dealer there.
No.
You know, and
take up a table.
Yeah.
Because if they have dollar, they can have $5 and people would be excited with a $5 table. Right.
Being so low. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if there were a dollar table, the rules would probably be atrocious. Probably pay like even money on blackjack.
Right.
Or like we heard about that.
Or there is no blackjack. You just play the hand.
It's just 21.
It's just 21.
Or they charge like a fee, like a 25-cent fee, like that one casino. Well, if anybody knows of any dollar blackjack, let us know. I had suggested to Eddie, really the only thing you can do is maybe look for those blackjack machines.
Right.
And you can find plenty of those where you can play dollar. Again, the rules might not be that great. You can probably only double.
We should look into that. What the rules are on some of those machines.
Okay.
I haven't played one in years.
No, I haven't. I imagine a lot of those do pay even money on blackjack.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine. It's not really something I think a lot of people look for anymore.
The machines, you mean?
Yeah. They're playing video poker, they're playing slots. I just don't know if they're playing a lot of blackjack on machines.
Maybe not a lot, but I know there are people who just don't want, they're a little nervous about, the live game and doing something wrong or some other player
they're afraid of
getting mad
being
at them.
Condemned by some other player because they did something.
But they like blackjack, so it's like, I'll just play on a machine. That's the way my mom is.
Yeah.
She loves a blackjack machine.
It is a game that my daughters play blackjack at home.
Excuse me?
Yep. Yeah, you heard me. They've been playing blackjack at home, practicing their blackjack.
Okay, good.
So they might like a machine, right? It'd be a little less, they could think longer about when to hit, when not to hit.
You should look in investing in one.
Maybe I should.
Yeah,
maybe I can win one. If I hit a jackpot on one, I can take one home with me.
That's good. And then you give them their allowance, and then they play in the machine. You get all your money back.
Talk them into playing some blackjack tonight, girls.
No, it pays even money. Hey, we got an email from Ben. He says, I've noticed that you guys tend to play mostly at Caesars properties in Vegas rather than MGM. As a table games player, I've always found that comp-wise, I'm treated much better at MGM properties. Is there a reason you concentrate your play at Caesars properties? Yeah, we've heard that too, that as far as if you're a machine player, slot player, you're going to get rated better at Caesars properties. But if you're a table game player, you'll get rated better at MGM property. Honestly, the only reason we play at Caesars properties so much is because there is a Caesars property close to us here in the San Diego area.
Right. So our comps build up fast.
Right.
And we can use them in Vegas.
Yep.
For rooms and food and, all kinds of giveaways.
Yep. And there's no other casino in the San Diego area that is affiliated with any Las Vegas casinos or any casinos for that matter.
Right. They're all independent except for Harrah's.
Yep.
So that's why we're there, which gets us to Caesars property in Vegas.
Yes, exactly.
But we do enjoy the MGM properties.
Oh, I love playing at Bellagio.
Bellagio's my favorite place to play craps at.
Yeah.
I mean, I wished I had over the years done better there.
I know, that's the thing. We've never done that well, but we like playing it. I don't know, because it's open.
And it's nice. They've always been nice to me. I've never had any bad problems with Bellagio, good dealers and whatnot. The only thing is, we go there, we play, we get rated. We don't really get anything from them.
No, we don't get much for them. And I don't know that I agree with you that the dealers have always been nice. It seems like they're a little
maybe every once in a while we've had some bad ones, but I don't know. No, we've had worse ones at Mirage.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And what about I don't know, Venetian or...
Yeah, it's so-so.
Yeah, so-so. I don't know. Bellagio's been okay. I do remember a couple times we've had some bad dealers, but I think as far as dealers go, Harrah's properties have always been the best.
I agree.
Caesar's
properties. I agree with the huge exception of Harrah's Las Vegas, where, boy, this is the last one.
Not 20 years ago.
No, you're right.
20 years ago, that was the place to play.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. Yep. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. And by kickback, it's not an illegal kickback. It's not like a bribery kickback, like a FIFA kickback.
No,
it's just a little commission is what it is.
Yeah, a little commission. I was going to say it's not like Mr. Rubinsky is, handling all of our money.
Right. No, it's not like that at all. This is all legit.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to some more voicemails. Remember, call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. Let's go to our first one.
Hi, I have a question. Why do people do wagers? Thanks, goodbye.
All right, Mike, I'll let you take this one. Why do people do wagers?
This is a surprise call for me. I knew nothing about this.
Uh-huh.
I think people do wagers because they like the thrill, the excitement of possibly winning or losing.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's kind of like the same reason people bungee jump.
Sure.
Or, I don't know, like to watch a lot of Disney TV ad nauseum over and over and over.
Uh-huh.
Because they like the thrill of it.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, that's my answer.
All right, that's a good answer to why do people do wagers.
And what about you?
What I would say?
Yeah.
Why do people do wagers? Maybe they're just super intelligent, and that's the way that they entertain themselves.
Yeah.
Just, ultra intelligent. That would be my answer.
Well, there is a little bit of truth to that.
Yeah, there is a
little bit of truth to that. A lot of people like the math.
Sure.
I mean, I've said that over and over. I kind of like the math.
Yeah.
So that kind of intrigues me.
Yeah.
I guess that's the answer.
I think it's a good answer.
Mrs. Rubinsky.
Yeah, all right. Now, let's move on to the next call. On our last episode, we were talking about Baccarat, and we mentioned that when you win by betting on the banker's hand, you have to pay a commission. Now, you don't have to pay that commission right away necessarily. The dealer will keep track of how much commission you owe, and then you pay that at the end of a shoe or when you leave the table.
At some particular time.
Right. We got a call. We got a question about that.
Hey, guys. This is Josh from St. Louis. Been listening since the very beginning. I think since your second or third episode, possibly. Anyway, just finished the episode on Baccarat. I had a question on the commissions. If you bet your last dollar that you have no more money in your pocket, you bet your last chip, and you owe the commission, what does the casino do? So I have no more money in my pocket, no more money on my person, I bet my last chip and lost, but I still technically owe the commissions. How does the casino enforce that? All right, guys, thanks a lot for the podcast. Love listening. Good luck to you guys. Thanks.
I'm thinking that this probably does not come up very often.
No.
I think the dealers are basically trained to watch for this, that if their last chips or a player's last chips are going out there and they still owe the commission, they kind of make them pay that up front.
Right. I think when they saw you make your bet and there were no chips in front of you, they'd probably pull the commission out right then.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they might get stuck with one commission if something, if you won that last bet. Let's say they took fourth of your money and you still had 3/4 you bet it, you won, and you were going to walk away. Well, then you'd still have money to pay your commission.
Yeah. I'm sure it has happened in the past.
Oh, I'm sure it has.
And I would guess that, the pit comes over and, they try to make some kind of arrangement like, hey, you owe us this money.
Right.
If it's not a lot of money, or even if it is, maybe they kick you out of the casino.
Yeah.
Maybe
how long would they let it build up though?
That's true too, right?
They probably wouldn't let it build up too long.
Yeah. But this is a good question. Let's pass this on to our dealer friends.
Yeah, see if that's ever come up.
And for the next Ask a Dealer segment, let's see what they have to say about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I got one question for Josh.
Yeah.
I'd like him to call back.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know What the hell is the deal with the St. Louis Cardinals?
Okay.
Because I want this information for the Padres. I want to know, how do they win every year, get the best record, World Series?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I don't know, but they got a great fan base. If you were to ask me what fan base was the best for
St.
Major
Louis
League Baseball, I'd say St. Louis.
I would agree with that too.
Yeah.
But every year they just seem, right now they have the best record in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
How does that happen year after year after year?
Yeah.
I mean, when's their down year coming?
Yeah. All right, Josh, give us a call back. Let us know.
Let us know what you know about this, Josh. I mean, people talk about the Yankees.
Right.
They hold nothing to St. Louis.
Yeah.
They're up and down. I mean, they might win 10 years in a row, but then they lose 10 years in a row.
Yeah.
St. Louis always there.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to know because the Padres need help.
As always. All right, we got a call from Dave. Now, we have always said that a good strategy for a beginning craps player, or even for a long-time craps player, a good strategy is to make a pass line bet with odds and then maybe 2 come bets with odds. And by strategy, that's not a winning strategy, right? It's still a negative EV game. But this is kind of I don't want to say it's a good balance of being conservative and aggressive. You know, you're getting some numbers out there. If somebody gets on a hot roll, you're going to win some money. Now, on our last show, we suggested some alternatives to that for when you're dealing with table limits that might be dangerous for your bankroll. Because sometimes you can't afford to take full odds on pass line and come bets because your bankroll just can't handle it.
Right.
And the example that we were giving last week was, say you've got $500 for a session. Well, if you're at even a $10 table and you want to take full odds, you could go through that $500 very quickly.
Yeah.
And we had suggested that maybe, instead you don't take full odds, or the alternative you came up with was maybe make a pass line bet with full odds and then just place the 6 and 8 for like $12 each, something like that.
So limit what you put out there on the numbers other than the point.
Right. But Dave has an additional suggestion.
Hi there. I was just in episode number 72. You're talking about the craps bankroll and about when you bump up from a $5 to a $10 table. What I used to do and what I tell friends to do if we're in there and they're not comfortable with that is don't play the pass line on the come out, and then after the point is established, just place it on the pass line. So you can, say if it's a 6 or an 8, you can just put 12 or 18 bucks there. And in theory, you're getting an $18 place, you're getting $3 pass with full odds. And so it's paying exactly the same. And that's what I do. And then they just pick 1 or 2 numbers to place for $10 or $12. So that's what I tell my friends. This is Dave in Redondo Beach. I appreciate your podcast and have a great day.
That's good advice, Dave. That's really good advice. Yeah. And, what's funny, he mentions that. I'm surprised we didn't think about that because we see that a lot in Southern California.
Yep.
There's quite a few guys who are regular players there. I mean, they're every week and exclusively play craps. And a lot of them do not put a pass line bet out on the come out.
Right.
And then some of them don't even place the point.
Yeah, if it's a point they don't like.
Yeah, if it's a point they don't like say it's 4, then they'll just negate it and they'll place like the inside numbers or just the 6 and 8.
Yeah.
There's one guy in particular, he always loads up on 6 and 8.
Yes.
He won't have a pass line bet, and then he'll put $150 6, $150 8.
Yeah.
He hits them and pulls them down.
Yeah, right.
Or lowers them. He'll hit the $156 and he'll lower it to like a $60 6 or something, right?
Yes. And then again, to be clear, this isn't a better way to play, right? Certainly from a mathematical standpoint, you're better off making pass line bet and come bets. We're talking about money management.
Right.
If you're at a table that maybe the stakes are too high for you, instead of making the pass line and putting full odds, just place it.
Yeah, we should drive that home. I know we've said this a million times, but it is true. There's a difference between what mathematically would be a good bet versus what's a good bet for you.
Yeah, exactly.
At that time, because you're trying to manage a certain amount of money. Yep. You have unlimited funds, then you can bet any way you want. Yeah, you have limited funds, you have to be a little more creative.
Yep, exactly. And, for us, it's all about having fun.
Right. Yeah. Right. I want to bet enough that I have fun.
Well, look at Hardways and you, right? Hardways, we agree, is a terrible bet as far as the house edge goes. But I'll tell you, the most fun I've ever seen you have at a craps table is when you hit those big Hardways.
When you hit the big Hardways. Yeah. And 2 weeks ago, remember?
Yes, I do.
The whole night, no Hardways were coming up. I was complaining to Mark and I said, you watch, they're all going to come at once. one shooter.
They all came on one shooter.
One shooter. He rolled so many hard ways, ended up winning a boatload for the night.
Oh, yeah. That was a great night for
it was just unbelievable.
Yep. All right. One final call from Brent.
Hi, this is Brent, or I guess Dr. Brent from Georgia. Discovered y'all's podcast on the way to Tunica, Mississippi. I pulled over on the side of the road and was just looking for something to listen to. Discovered your podcast, and it's been about a week and a half, and I think I've listened to about 35 or 40 episodes. So obviously I'm really enjoying it, you guys. You guys do a tremendous job, and I'm loving it. So I took a trip to Tunica, Mississippi. I heard you guys talking about that on an earlier episode. I'm not completely caught up with new episodes, so I don't know if you guys have visited. I would say that I don't necessarily recommend going to Tunica. It seems to kind of be falling apart. There's some good casinos there, but with all the casinos opening up in the Midwest, it seems like a kind of a dying town, a dying casino town. They do have good rules on craps, lots of opportunities for high odds on your pass line bets. And, it's a decent place to go, but I think your money would probably be better spent in other locations. I'm going to tell you real quick about one story. I played some Omaha high-low 4-8 limits when I was there. I played for an hour and a half. I bought in with $200, and I literally didn't win a hand. I didn't win the low. I didn't win the high. I didn't split a pot. I didn't win anybody's blinds. I literally just gave away $200 in 90 minutes. That was pretty much par for the course for the trip. It wasn't a good trip. However, talking about Tunica, Mississippi, I don't recommend that, but I do recommend Biloxi if you haven't visited. So I was curious to see if you guys have ever gone to Biloxi, or perhaps if you played at the Harrah's Casino in New Orleans. Both of those locations, to me, are pretty good places to play. I also wanted to point out, I think it's funny your disdain for crapless craps, based on the way you guys play, where you buy a lot of numbers and things. I guess maybe it's not an ideal game to play but for a player like me who doesn't bet a lot, I tend to put $5 on the pass line, maybe $20, $25 odds behind, and then I buy or place the 6 and the 8. For me, it's really not that big of a difference between the two games. The only difference is the 1% or so house edge on the pass line bet versus the 5% or so in crapless craps. So I was curious to see if you, across the board, don't recommend crapless craps for any other reason. Perhaps there's something I'm not realizing, but it seems to me if you're placing numbers, crapless craps is not that different. So anyway, I'll hang up now. I really appreciate you guys doing what you're doing. It's a great show. Enjoy listening to it. I'm really not looking forward to running out of new episodes, so I hope you guys keep it up. Thanks.
Okay, crapless craps. Yeah, if in the example that we were just talking about, where you're just placing numbers, right, even whether it's the point or whatever, there is no difference.
No, there's no difference. The only difference really is that your point could be a 2, a 3, or 11, or a 12.
Yeah.
And I just don't like having 12 as my point.
No, see, this is the thing. This is why we say if you have a choice, don't play crapless craps, because of that pass line and come bets. On a regular table, it's about 1.4% house edge. Crapless craps is 5.4%. That's huge. That's a big difference.
It's a big difference.
And that really is the only reason we're saying don't play crapless craps, is because the pass line and the come. You can't bet the don't also. Right. That's another thing if you're a don't player.
Another thing, if you're going to play crapless craps, and we have played.
Oh, sure, we've played. Yeah.
Don't make a pass line bet like we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
Just place the point, whatever the point comes up. And then, place your numbers. Then you avoid the 2, 3, 11, and 12 altogether.
Sure. I mean, that's a way to do it.
Yeah. It eats at your gut when the point's 12 and the guy rolls it right back.
Yeah. Especially if you could have taken odds, right? And the odds are going to pay great, right? 6-1, right? On a 12.
Yeah.
It's all about fun. If you want to play crapless craps, let's say you want to play at a table where you can buy the 2 or the 3 or the 11 or the 12 or have them as points. If that's something you find fun, then that's fine.
Sure.
But no, the only reason we say don't do it is because of the huge difference in house edge on the pass line.
On the pass line, yeah. And if you're a come better, it doesn't really make sense.
No, and see, that's what I usually do. I'm usually, like I said, pass line and a couple of come bets.
Right.
So it is not a game that I would prefer to play. As far as, Tunica and Biloxi, we haven't been...
You said Biloxi. He said Biloxi.
Yeah, it probably is Biloxi. Right. I'm just looking at how it's spelled, right?
Right.
It probably is Biloxi.
It probably is Biloxi.
Yeah. We haven't been, have you been to Mississippi at all to,
Well, I've been to Mississippi, but I haven't been to the Harrah's in New Orleans.
Oh, the New Orleans Harrah's. Okay.
Yeah. And I haven't been to Tunica or Biloxi.
We need to go to Biloxi sometime.
Yeah.
We talked about that. Yeah.
That's where we should go. Yeah. Just to check it out. I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
It is true though. There are so many new Indian casinos cropping up everywhere.
Yeah.
that places like Tunica are going to have a problem.
Sure.
Right? Who's going to drive that far if you live in Kansas?
Yeah.
Who's going to drive down there when they can go to the casino at their... And also, we've noticed, with us here anyway, we used to go to Vegas a lot.
A lot.
And now we don't because we can go to Harrah's every weekend.
Yes.
And if we get tired of Harrah's, there's all the other casinos around here, which we don't frequent as much, but we could go to them if we really wanted to.
Yes.
And they have craps and everything. So it does keep you away from the bigger destinations, except for, when you want to make a whole weekend of it.
Well, I think that's why Vegas is kind of changing too, right? The revenue from gaming is going down while the revenue from non-gaming is going up.
Right.
It's kind of reinventing itself, as it always does.
It has to, really, to stay up with the times.
Yep.
I'm wondering about places like Laughlin. How long can they manage to stay there?
Yeah.
They're kind of in the same thing with Tunica, right? There's competing casinos all around them, Southern California, Las Vegas. They really have to find a niche.
Yeah, I wonder how well Laughlin is doing. That is a good question. It certainly appeals to an older crowd, right? They cater the senior citizens.
Right, but eventually that's going to change too, because a lot of the seniors go to local casinos. My dad would rather go here on a Friday or Saturday night and go back home.
Well, your dad is not the typical senior citizen gambler. I'll just say that right now.
Okay. You're probably right about that. He's more like the 24-year-old gambler.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Brent, for the Omaha 8, Omaha 8 is my favorite game. Hands down. I always think it's
poker game.
Favorite poker game. I always think it's funny. Chris Cosenza on the Ante Up podcast talks about how it's his least favorite game. He must not like winning money because to me, Omaha 8, it might take a little getting used to how it's played, but it is so much easier to play than Hold'em. It's so much easier to win money at it. But
if you play properly,
it is
easier.
I'm hoping I do.
Yeah.
But Brent, I know exactly what you're saying because we play a lot of Omaha 8 in our home game, and I've gone 3 hours. Playing and just nothing coming up, right? Or I stay in a hand, I've got second best, second low, that kind of thing. So we know what that's like.
It lends itself good to a home game. It's not so good in a tournament type situation, I think.
I have played in a tournament. Yeah, it is a little bit different. Anytime you're in a limit tournament, it's a little strange.
But even a no limit Omaha 8, it's just
pot limit. Nobody plays no limit, but like pot limit.
Yeah, it's a little different. I don't know. So I can see someone in a tournament not liking it, but as a home game or just sitting at a table in a casino, I think it's a great game.
I love it. Yeah. And another nice thing too is when I sit down at an Omaha 8 in a casino, I'm usually the youngest one.
Right. Well,
and everybody's played so loose.
Right. Well, the younger people a lot of them don't know how to play it.
Yeah.
Or they don't play it enough.
Or you know what? A lot of younger people too are now playing pot limit Omaha, just high. Right. That's kind of the big game right now.
Yeah. Well, more like Texas Hold'em, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, we want to thank some listeners for some PayPal donations. Thank you very much to Adam for giving us a donation. Also to Ben. Thank you very much. And we got a donation from Taylor. Thank you, Taylor. Taylor is an interesting listener because Taylor found out about the 500 podcast from us. And I don't know if that's happened with anybody.
No, he's probably the only person.
It's almost always the other way around. Right? People listen to 500 found out about us. But,
and I have a question for Taylor while we're thinking about it. I meant to mention it earlier and it slipped my mind, but he goes to Vegas a lot.
It seems like
like he goes to Vegas a lot. And I'm just wondering, are there any casinos near him in New Mexico? There's got to be.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've talked about it, right? Well, I don't know how close it is for him to drive, but, there's that Santa Ana casino where there's no VIG when you buy the 4 and 10.
Right.
And in the field, the 2 and the 12 both pay triple, making it a zero house edge.
Right.
So there are some New Mexico casinos with some pretty good rules. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a homework for Taylor to give us a call from a New Mexico casino.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And let us know how it's going there.
All right. Good.
So I'd like to know that. And I want to thank again people like Brent who called and, found the show and are listening and enjoying it. I really like to hear that.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, seriously, it makes me feel so good when we hear that because there are a lot of people out there who have the same interests as us.
Yeah.
And we've never met or anything,
right,
but we can kind of communicate on, I guess, this modern way.
It's a new age, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, it's a new age.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out why people do wagers.
Well, that is going to be an ongoing question. We may never actually get the full, complete answer, but that's basically the point of our show. Why do people do wagers?
Yeah. Call in and let us know why you do wagers.
Yeah. That's going to do it for this episode. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. I update those listings every Wednesday using a program I wrote myself to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and click on the link at the top that says TV listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonthat. We always tweet when we're in a casino or on our way to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonthat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. Dr. Mike, we're going to a poker tournament this weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Big poker tournament this weekend.
Yeah.
A friend of ours puts it on, does it, 2, 3, 4 times a year?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, our good friend Dave. Yeah.
And always a good turnout for his tournaments. I do enjoy that.
Yep.
And I'm actually going to go.
I know. You're
time.
finally going to go this time.
I'm going to go. I haven't been the last couple because I'm always drawn to Harrah's.
I know. So I want you to really try to win this thing. And do not think, oh, maybe I'll just go out early so I can go to the casino.
No.
Don't go all in every time. Really try to play your best poker.
Okay. Well, I have in the past, and I've gotten to
That's true. I've
gotten to the final table more than most people.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that.
I would say. And I've second that one time and a couple of fourths and fifths.
Yeah. How many times have you won it?
I have not won it.
Oh, okay.
You won it once.
Maybe you can join the club this time.
All right. That's it. The gauntlet has been thrown.
Excellent.
I will win this tournament.
Very good. All right. Anything else?
No. I'm thinking I don't have anything else to say.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.